Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we have the CJRB Rampart. So, another knife in CJRB's lineup, and actually, I will give them credit, this one has a bit of flair to it. I know it doesn't, it looks simple, it's got these straight lines, and that's kind of, if you guys watch my review of the QSP Parrot, I'm liking the straight line look. I mean, it looks pretty sweet. Obviously, I think the Parrot looks a little bit better, but yeah, this is a decent looking knife. A little goofy to actually look at, but you got a nice finger choil here. The ergonomics on it aren't bad. I would call them average to a little bit above average. You know, the action on it, I gotta say, look at this pocket fucking, not pocket pecker, flipper tab. Pretty unique looking. It's nice and fat, and the way it's angled down, you know, it feels like you should just light switch it, but you know, it doesn't have enough really unless you put some gusto behind it. I feel like that should be flatter, because when I do it, you just want to roll off. And I always complain about, you know, sharp tips, but this is like the opposite. It's not hard, don't get me wrong, but it feels weird and almost uncomfortable to flip. You're just like, this doesn't feel right. The blade centering came in perfectly centered from the factory. Fit and finish, it actually looks like they tightened up quite a bit to where it's not, you don't see, no, you don't see any gaps or anything of that nature. It does have an ambidextrous pocket clip. It's got that one little bloop that everybody complains about, but take that for what you will. But it does seem to be emphasizing this stupid little fucking lanyard hole over here. I would be perfectly content if they cut it off right there. I mean, I think it looks great. I do try to be the mediator between most of the YouTube reviewers that hate on stupid things, and a lot of them hate on lanyard holes. I don't hate on the lanyard hole itself. I hate when the lanyard hole is emphasized over, you know, something else. And right here, if they would just put like a little bead in the back of there like they did in the CJRB Rhea, you know, they got this little bead right there. If they were to do that in one of these, I think that would be fantastic. And cut this off right here. It would be a great knife. This isn't everybody's cup of tea, but the straight lines, it just makes it feel, I like it quite a bit. Let's get into some of the specs. Blade stock does look a little bit thicker from what I've been doing, but 130,000, still a good blade stock. That is still within the realm of reason. The behind the edge thickness is coming in at about 20 thousandths, in case you guys can't see there. The overall thickness of the knife itself is coming in at 53 thousandths, or not 53 thousandths, 530 thousandths, dumbass. And then let's get into the height. At the tallest point here, it's only at a 1.2, which is still pretty damn good. I know that looks kind of obtrusive, it like sticks out a little bit, but when I do a comparison with the Spyderco PM2, obviously the PM2, look at the widths on those, the PM2 sitting down. Oh, let's do it right there. I know they're both black and hard to see, they kind of mesh together, but this is coming in at the tallest point at 160 thousandths, so, or 1.6 inches, sorry. So, and this is only coming in at 1.4, so that's not bad at all. Get into our normal size comparisons. We got the PM2, and it actually looks in length to be just about the same length as the PM2 because of this extra right here. I do really like that. I fucking hate that part of the knife, but so there's those. As always, I tell everybody, if this is the first video you're watching, I do a lot of comparisons. The reason is I want you guys to see a knife that you're familiar with to compare it with this one. A lot of times people will compare knives that are the most popular knives, but maybe you haven't held them in your hand and you don't have a very good feel for the size of those. But maybe one of these other ones that I'm comparing it to, which are all over the board, you might. So here's the Rat Model 1, and actually in length, the Rat Model 1 barely squeaks by in overall length. The blade length is just about the same, but you got this going on right here. Obviously, it dwarfs the CJRB Rhea. Here's your Rat Model 1, your CJRB Feldspar. So the feldspar coming in at blade length is just about the same. Cutting edge is a lot longer on the feldspar, but because of this tip on the Rampart, once again, that stupid fucking tip taking over and it's a little bit longer there. And last but not least, you have your King Savivi, the Dogma. Not sitting properly. Let's move this guy a little bit higher so you guys can kind of see this a little bit better. There we go. So you got your Dogma right there, and then we have our ProTech Newport. Obviously the Newport's getting dwarfed in size. This is just a size comparison. The Dogma, once again, the blade length coming in at very close. It's got a little bit less blade length, but probably more cutting edge due to the belly on the Dogma, but it is coming in at a much shorter handle. All right. So, getting into it, the action on this guy, you know, it's on ceramic bearings, so that's the good news. I mean, it does have a fairly good action. The blade obviously is a little top heavy because of the shape of it, so it does, you know, with a little bit of, you know, coercing, it does kind of come on down there. So, you know, the action on it's just fine. The ergonomics on it are much better than most. When it comes to, I would say this is definitely above average ergonomics. Choked up position feels fantastic. The regular position does not feel bad. And then you got this jimping here, which feels very functional because as I got my thumb on there, you can feel it. It's otherwise it would just be straight, but it feels like you're locked in. So, you know, the ergonomics will definitely get a B+ to an A-. The pocket clip, not so much. This would be a deep carry if it wasn't for this stupid little, you know, triangular part hanging out on either side. It does have a T8 pivot screw, and like I said, with all CJRBs, they do seem to have a D-shaped pivot ring, but I haven't. The couple that I've taken apart, they don't have a D-shaped slot. So I was like, what? So, anyways. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I wasn't seeing the slot right, or there was so much play with the fit and finish on the pivot going into the slot that I just didn't even notice that there was a cutout. I don't know, but it spun on me when I was going up, so I was like, what the fuck? So anyways, these are some T6 pocket screws, T8 pivot screw, T6 pocket clip screws. Did I say pocket screws? Scale screws, body screws, whatever. This is a stainless steel liner lock. It is locking up at just about, we'll say it's just about 40%. You know, I said that I wouldn't do the percentages because I don't really know how to do them, so just so you guys make your own fucking decision there. Like I said, the blade is coming in at damn near perfectly center. The detent strength on this does not feel very strong. I mean, you can feel it suck it in, so that's good. But you guys see how little. Now to show a strong detent. Oh, dude, I got snail trails and shit going on there. What the fuck? Let's see here. Do that one more time so you guys can kind of see it. And then we'll do one more. This is the QSP Parrot, or I'm sorry, QSP Penguin. This one had another really strong detent. So I got to use force to pull this guy out in order to get this one out. This one, I can grab anywhere and it just, boop, comes on out. Now, it's not going to shake loose, but it does kind of create a situation where you have this pocket, you have this flipper tab that your finger rolls off of naturally because it's angled down with no jimping or nothing to hold you on there. And then as you flick it, you know, it doesn't feel like the detent's strong enough. I feel like the detent should be stronger, but then again, I do feel like most detents should be a little bit stronger than they are, especially on these budget brands. Most. QSP Parrot being one of the few that I thought the detent might be too strong. I loved it. I do love it, but the detent might be a little bit too strong on that one. So, these straight lines, it's a gorgeous shape. I do love the shape of this, and it's polarizing. A lot of you guys may not agree with that. I love the straight line look. and there's something about that lately, and I think it's because of the parrot and carrying around the parrot. I'm in love with the penguin. I'm in love with the penguin, but I'm in love with the and so I'm really liking these straight lines. I'm loving these Warncliffe style blades. They're so functional. If you haven't used a Warncliffe yet with that straight edge or slightly less than straight edge, do it, because there is something, and don't just hold it, because that doesn't do it for you. You have to start using it. You puncture into a box and then draw, right? There's something so satisfying about it. It just feels great. Obviously, we got these pivot collars, the copper brass pivot collars that they're putting on everything. Take that or leave it. The G10 is fairly grippy. It's nowhere near as grippy as, say, the Tala, but it's grippy enough. It's not going to destroy your pocket as much as the Tala, but you're not going to lose this knife. You definitely feel locked in here. The skinnier handle does feel different in your hand. Like I said, I gave the Ergonomics a good grade, but it's a different feel. Hot spot wise, I can definitely feel the pocket clip, and that's the downside to this skinny handle. While the Ergonomics feel great, and I know that they always say Ergonomics and fucking hot spots go together. To me, they don't. The hot spot is going to be something that you can feel when you're locked in, but I can feel, like if I'm choked up here, I don't feel it, but I can feel it when I'm locked in here. Am I locked in and does it feel good? Yes, but I can feel the pocket clip back here. So I would call that a little bit of a hot spot. But I will say, and I forgot to mention it on my QSP Penguin, when I am locked in here, I can feel the pocket clip there too. I'm not sure what it is about these two. I think that straight line, design really creates a situation where you feel the whole damn thing. Overall thoughts on this knife? I still think that the Tala, I think the Tala beats this a little bit. Obviously, the Feldspar, the mini Feldspar, and the Rhea definitely decimate this. But this isn't a bad knife, and it is a unique-looking knife from CJRB. I appreciate what they're doing. I hate this and this. I mean, this is easy fix. I can take a Dremel or something if I were keeping this knife and cut into it just a couple times, or something of that nature to get this, to be a little bit more grippy. That just feels like they were like, we're done, and then they didn't finish the fucking knife. It's like they gave up on the pocket, or the flipper tab. And then this, I mean, the knife edge goes to right here, to the tip. You could have cut off that fucking lanyard hole. Just cut it off. It would be such a better knife if you were just to do this. It would be so much better. That's my only complaints, though. Action on it, it's on ceramic ball bearing, so it's great. It came centered. The fit and finish on it's fine. There's no blade play back and forth. The ergonomics are pretty damn good, excluding this pocket clip. Now, if this pocket clip was more of a swoop with this, something like that, you probably wouldn't feel it as much. But because they use these generic fucking pocket clips, because they use these damn generic pocket clips in all their older shit, and hopefully not their newer shit, you feel it a little bit. And, I hate to be the guy that bitches about a pocket clip, but in this particular instance, you can feel it. You definitely notice it a little bit. Nothing that's game-changing. But for $35, I mean, you can't be mad. This thing's pretty damn good. So if you're into the straight look, the straight line look, and you're into CJRBs and $35 is your cup of tea, maybe this is the knife for you. Unfortunately, here's the unfortunate part. This Penguin, in my opinion, for maybe $10 more, I think, plus or minus, don't quote me on that, guys, but for maybe $10 more, in my opinion, does what the CJRB Rampart is trying to do, but does it better. And it's on thumb studs without that stupid fucking, it doesn't have a stupid flipper tab. Not all flipper tabs are stupid. This one is probably the dumbest flipper tab that I've ever seen. To put that into perspective, then this is quite a pecking flipper tab, but if you look at it, like, what the fuck is it? What? They literally did nothing. That's like part of their fucking steel stock. I mean, obnoxious. This thing's obnoxious. But the knife itself is a very good knife. And again, I do like the Penguin immensely better, but that does not take away from what this is. And had I not felt the Penguin, which I didn't when I first had this knife in hand, I do. Originally, it's polarizing. You pick it up and you're like, I don't know, and then you use it a little bit and you're like, I get it. So, yeah. I mean, had I not known that the Penguin existed or carried the Penguin for the past week too, I probably wouldn't have even made that comparison. But the symmetry on them is so similar that it's hard to compare. And the Penguins on these washers, that I actually appreciate the phosphor bronze and the Teflon washer combo. It still felt smooth until I took it apart in my video and fucked it up a little bit. I think I jacked up the Teflon washers, but yeah. So the CJRB Rampart, a pretty decent knife. It's another good knife from CJRB. I appreciate the aesthetics of it. I appreciate the symmetry and the line, not the symmetry, but the lines and the you use that as a fucking straight edge right across. I mean, it's great. So, it's a very good looking knife. It's a unique looking knife, and I appreciate that. CJ or Civivi kind of starting to get dull. Their knives are coming out, and I had that rant about Civivi on how they're not really changing it up a little bit. CJRB, the one thing I got to give them credit for is you're going after the CJRB Rio, which is great. This Rampart's a totally different look. The Tala, if you look at Nick Shabazz's review that he just did, totally different type of knife. I also have a review of the Tala, which is weird that I'm broadcasting somebody that already has 100,000 viewers or subscribers, but you get it. And so you have to appreciate what CJRB is doing. And I think they're going to be the one that's going to try to overtake Civivi within the next year and a half. They're going to do something that if they keep coming out with shit like this for 15 to 20 bucks less than Civivi might be in trouble. And you can tell that they're experimenting and finding their way. So good for them. Good for CJRB. Obviously, Civivi's still king. With what I'm seeing out of the QSP Parrot, Penguin, I think that QSP is a dangerous one to watch as well. And I'm excited to see the QSPs that I have coming in as well. So, all right, guys. I think that is all I got for your face balls today, as OCD for EDC would say. This has been Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler. Stay safe. Stay sharp. Wear your masks. Keep your distancing. Let's get through this together. Love you guys. Have a good day.